Hello everyone. I'm coming to you today to give you an update on the referendum because I thought it'd be information that you would like to know. First of all, on April 2nd, we are going to ask the public for an operational question for $2,294,125. Now people ask, how did you come up with that number? And the answer is easy. What we did is we went through, we used surveys, we used meetings with staff, we used meetings with the public to determine what are the needs the school district has. So we looked at each of the individual needs, such as what staff, what programs would we like to offer, such as we wanted to offer family and consumer science. I used to call that home ec at the high school. We also wanted to add staff members to our technology education and ag department because they have a huge draw. We wanted to add to the business education department, and also we wanted to add an additional English or math teacher at the junior senior high so they would have more options during their schedule. We also knew that the elementary school needed to restore its elementary counselor position that it lost a few years ago, and also to replace one of the teachers that it lost a few years ago with another staff member, possibly a school psychologist. We also want to increase the salary and fringe benefits of our staff. Currently, our paraprofessionals do not get health or dental benefits, and we thought that they are an integral part of our educational system, and we needed to provide them with these benefits so they could have a decent standard of living. We also wanted to increase the salaries of our staff members. Last year, when the referendum failed, the board couldn't give us larger raises as it would have liked to. So actually, our wage increase was smaller than all of the school districts around us, and it dropped us from a competitive position to being actually the lowest paid district in the area. We have put money in so that we can give, one, a cost of living increase for the upcoming year, plus some of the salary that it was not able to give last year, so we can be back in a competitive advantage. We want to do this not only in salary, but also in fringe benefits because of the amount of money that we pay for our health insurance deductible. And I've went in each of these areas in detail in my blogs, so if you've read my current blogs, I'm trying to break down each one of these areas into more specificity and greater detail. And I'll be writing one of these blogs every week from now until the referendum, and even after the referendum. So if you ever have any questions, I always put my email address on the blog, so please make sure you send those questions to me. So when we took a look at all of the items that had support from the staff and the public, we added those numbers together, and that's how we came up with the referendum number. Now, I know that may seem like a strange number, but one of the things that we wanted to make certain that we did to earn your trust was to tell you, if you give us X amount of money, then we wanted to tell you exactly how that money would be spent. Now one of the things that we're working on is what happens if the referendum fails? I don't have an answer for that question yet, but I can tell you that last year when the referendum failed, the board had to cut $1.1 million. So the things that we could offer this year were less than the things that we could offer the prior year. If this referendum fails, we are going to have to make additional cuts. Probably in the area of staffing, because we've cut almost all of the non-staffing areas. The Finance Committee is meeting to take a look at certain options they might have. And these will also be discussed at the full board. Hopefully, by the end of February or beginning of March, we will have made that determination for what would need to be cut. And then I'll write a blog and send you out information also that tells you if the referendum fails, here's what we will not have for next year. Now the referendum we're asking for is a recurring referendum, as I said, for just under $2.3 million. And that does have a significant tax impact. The first year, that is going to cost you $316 per $100,000 of equalized property value. But it goes down every year after that because we get to add state aid. So in the second year, the amount drops to $251 per $100,000 of property value. And towards year 20, it's $210. So when we get to add the state aid onto that, it actually reduces the amount that the taxpayers have to pay on their property tax bill. Now, if you have a non-recurring referendum, which is usually 3 to 5 years, the board has to make a decision every 3 to 5 years to either come back and ask the public for money for those same programs, or it has to cut those programs or cut like programs to achieve that. Since we're asking for things that are continuing from now well into the future, we thought it made the most sense to ask for a recurring referendum, because we're not looking at cutting family and consumer economics. We're not looking at cutting business edge. We're not looking at cutting technology education or agriculture. We're not looking at that we'll have less of a need for an elementary counselor or an elementary school teacher. These needs are going to last much longer than 3 to 5 years. So we're asking for the money so that it can last for more than 3 to 5 years, and we don't have to continually keep coming back to year after year. As I said, it's my goal to give you as much information as possible about what we are going to spend the money on, and then earn your trust by spending it exactly that way. But also, as I mentioned, if it doesn't pass, we will have the cuts that we will have to make, and I will let you know what those are. And those cuts will have to be made too. There are no such thing as any good cuts. Every cut is going to have a negative impact on our school district. But we want you to know what those cuts will be and what our school district would look like next year if the referendum doesn't pass. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate those people who have been reading my blogs and sending me comments, and of those who have given me additional suggestions for what my blogs can be in the future. We are currently going to each one of the townships and municipalities to present to tell them and to answer their questions. We'll also have additional information sent out to each of the households, so you have a physical document that lays out exactly, like I said, what we will purchase with the dollars that you give us and what will happen if the referendum doesn't pass. I appreciate your support. Thank you very much for taking time to listen to this message.